You look like him. Oh, yeah.
The old adage, "Don't judge a book by its cover," takes on a whole new meaning when faced with the cunning and deceit of criminal minds. These 30 extraordinary examples show how easily appearances can be deceiving. As lawbreakers use their wit and charm to outmaneuver the authorities, from daring escapes to creative moves, these true stories of criminals outsmarting the police will leave you questioning who's really in control. Get ready to have your mind blown by the creative and brazen tactics used by these criminals to evade justice. Here are 30 times criminals outsmarted the police and got away. Number 30, the Houdini Act. In a daring escape that would put even the most seasoned Houdini to shame, Quantrell Schwartzlow, a high school student, pulled off a daring escape from the Rock County Sheriff's Office in Janesville, leaving law enforcement stunned and scrambling. Just hours after being yanked from his classroom at Orfordville Parkview High School, the teen found himself in a police interview room, accused of strangulation. One would think that such confinement would have Schwartzlow cowering in fear, but he had other plans. As the detective stepped out of the room, the resourceful teen seized the opportunity, bursting through the blinds and launching himself out the window with Olympic-worthy precision. With a 12-foot drop to the ground, he showed no hesitation, landing with a thud and sprinting across the lawn like a deer. A second surveillance camera captured this heart-pumping action. 14 minutes later, the officer returned to an empty room with the window wide open, leaving the police officer in shock. Number 29, the slippery escape. Gerald Hyde, who was a 24-year-old mastermind as of 2015, proved that escaping from custody doesn't need some grand plan. Sometimes all it takes is a little creativity and a whole lot of nerve. Footage of Hyde's amazing escape was caught by surveillance cameras at Benton County Superior Court in Washington, where Hyde was in custody after being convicted of possessing methamphetamine. While being escorted out of the courtroom, Hyde slipped away when the guards momentarily turned their backs. The footage shows Hyde retreating backwards into the hallway, then sprinting through the courtroom. With his quick thinking and cunning move, he stripped off his jail-issued shirt to conceal his handcuffs and fled into the foyer. He abandoned his orange prison shoes and exited the courthouse wearing a white vest and jail-issued pants. All before anyone noticed, he was gone. The daring escape is like something straight out of a Hollywood movie. Okay, so maybe Hyde's escape wasn't the most elaborate, but you've got to give the guy points for style and sheer audacity. And who knows, maybe he'd have gotten away with it if he hadn't been caught a few hours later. Number 28, the Dodger. In a heart-stopping, action-packed drama, a Nigerian man pulled off a daring escape from police custody in Mumbai, India, leaving law enforcement officials dumbfounded. The high-stakes raid, conducted by Navi Mumbai Police, targeted the emerging drug mafia in Ulwe Sector 24. But just as the authorities thought they had found their suspect, the man made a lightning-fast break for freedom, slipping out of a police officer's grasp with the speed of a cheetah, outmaneuvering his pursuers with incredible agility and intense speed. One officer was left eating dust, literally, as he tumbled to the ground in a desperate attempt to catch the elusive fugitive. The chaotic chase continued, with officers fanning out in all directions, but the accused remained one step ahead, vanishing into thin air like a ghost. The thrilling escape has left the police baffled, wondering how he managed to pull off such a daring feat. Number 27, young rider. Police officers, determined to tame the city's reckless driving epidemic, spotted a young bike driver recklessly pushing the limits of speed. With loud shouts of "halt and pull over," the officers gave chase, determined to bring the daredevil to justice. But the young driver, fueled by adrenaline and a need for speed, expertly maneuvering his bike through the city's road, leaving the pursuing officers behind. The police, armed with batons and a determination to teach the young driver a lesson, repeatedly tried to close the gap, but the driver's lightning-fast reflexes and razor-sharp skills kept him tantalizingly out of reach. The pursuit continued through the city, with the police officers still tailing the young driver. Thinking he had outsmarted the law, he kept speeding off. As the police finally caught up to him with a final burst of speed, the officers cornered him, bringing an end to the thrilling chase, who had vowed to bring order to the city's chaotic streets. Number 26, the trial that went haywire. Nicholas Garrison, a then 33-year-old convicted drug offender as of 2020, dodged justice and fled a Highland County courtroom in a high-stakes bid for freedom, moments after being sentenced to a year behind bars and slapped with a $2,500 fine for aggravated methamphetamine possession. Garrison made his move, bursting free from a bailiff's grasp and sprinting through the courthouse like a man possessed. With a posse of determined officers hot on his heels, Garrison defied the odds, using his high speed and desperation to outrun his pursuers and leave a trail of chaos in his wake before finally reaching the stairs and disappearing from sight. In a stunning display of athleticism, a Highland County deputy dove headfirst over a railing in a desperate attempt to catch the fleeing felon, only to crash into a wall and tumble to the bottom of the stairwell, suffering a concussion and 4 broken ribs in the process. Number 25. The perfect timing. Timing is everything when it comes to making a successful escape, and Michael Maldonado made use of this perfect opportunity that came his way. Like a scene straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster, Maldonado, seizing his opportunity, jumped from the back seat of the police car to the front and out the driver's side door. He slipped free from his restraints, dove under a closing door moments before it closed, and made a death-defying leap to freedom. With the closed door, officers couldn't catch Maldonado. It took some time for another door to unlock, and by the time the officers were able to get outside, Maldonado was already gone. The thrilling escape was captured on video by the Porter County Sheriff's Department, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats and wondering how he managed to pull off the impossible. Number 24. Joyride. A rebellious biker pushed the limits of speed and sanity on the Los Angeles freeway, leaving a trail of stunned motorists and bewildered police in his wake. With death-defying skills, he effortlessly soared over 100 miles per hour, brazenly running red lights and narrowly avoiding a catastrophic collision with a car. As if taunting his pursuers, the biker performed daring stunts, standing on his seat with nonchalant ease, showcasing his mastery of the bike. Some witnesses even claimed he snapped selfies and flipped off the officers, further fueling the chaos. The high-speed chase took a dramatic turn when the biker was cornered at a dead end. With a calm demeanor, he removed his helmet, inserted earbuds, and seemed to relish the moment until police officers approached. In a final act of defiance, he nearly ripped off their car door while driving away, performing another stunt on his move bar before finally surrendering, lying spread-eagled on the ground as officers trained their guns on him. In a stunning finale, the biker rode into a nearby gas station where police apprehended him, bringing an end to the thrilling chase. Number 23. The Spidey Sense. With a daring display of cunning and athleticism, Danilo Cavalcante, a murder suspect, pulled off an unbelievable escape from a maximum security Pennsylvania prison. This criminal did not only outsmart the police officer, but he pulled off one of the most amazing moves ever seen. With the stealth of a ninja and the agility of a parkour expert, Danilo scaled the walls of the maximum security Pennsylvania prison, exploiting a brief window of opportunity during recess. Thinking creatively, he employed an unconventional crab-walking technique to traverse 2 parallel walls, his hands and feet finding holds in the brick walls, ultimately reaching the roof undetected. By the time authorities realized he had escaped, Cavalcante was long gone, prompting a massive manhunt involving helicopters, drones, search dogs, and law enforcement officers in hot pursuit, scouring the surrounding landscape for any signs of him. Number 22. The Parachute Man. What more daring and ingenious way to evade the long arm of the law than to launch oneself off a bridge with a parachute strapped to one's back? A man caught the attention of police as he was seen looking down the edge of a bridge. The police officer, naturally intrigued by the suspicious man's act, stops the police cruiser to take a look at the situation. As the police officer's suspicious gaze locked onto him, the man became restless. His nerves were stretched taut like a bowstring, ready to snap at any moment. The police officer's pleas for the man to come down fell on deaf ears, as the man remained steadfast in his daring escape plan, steadfastly preparing his parachute for his getaway, utterly disregarding the officer's warnings and requests to descend back to solid ground. The police officer, careful not to aggravate the situation, decided to watch the man. Then, in a heart-stopping instant, he took the leap of faith, soaring into the sky like a bird in flight, leaving the stunned officer to watch in awe as the man soared into the horizon. Number 21. From fireworks to freeway frenzy. A reckless driver known as Maliak Davis led police on a wild goose chase through the city streets. The chaos began when Davis, behind the wheel of a Pontiac, allegedly fired shots, claiming kids had thrown fireworks at his vehicle. When ordered to exit, he refused and sped away, prompting a daring pursuit. He careened through red lights, executed a daring 360-degree spin on Grand Avenue, and collided with multiple vehicles, including a police car. Yet, miraculously, he managed to evade capture. The high-speed chase continued onto the highway, where Davis expertly weaved through traffic, leaving authorities in a desperate bid to keep up. After a tense 13 minutes, police made the difficult decision to terminate the pursuit, prioritizing public safety over the capture of Davis. Number 20. Two good friends. A daring escape sometimes requires double the brains and double the bravery, and a faithful friend can be the perfect partner in crime. Two friends turned a routine morning at Bradford Crown Court into a thrilling escape saga. When a 17-year-old convict made a bold break for freedom, his 21-year-old friend, identified as Callum Fittner, proved to be the perfect partner in crime. With the simple press of a button, Fittner activated an automatic door, clearing a path for his friend's great escape. As the 17-year-old and the police officers sprinted past security checkpoints, Fittner transformed from co-conspirator to cheerleader, urging his friend on with infectious enthusiasm. The teen's lightning-fast speed proved too much for the court security team, and they eventually gave up the cake. But one determined officer refused to give up the chase. The pursuit continued, with the officer hot on their heels, but at a slower pace. The unlikely duo's daring escape proved that the power of friendship and quick thinking can let you get away from police enforcement. Number 19. Unknown Mustang driver. During a high-speed pursuit, a cunning Mustang driver outwitted the Arkansas State Troopers with a daring display of driving prowess and strategic maneuvers. Evidently, the incident occurred on September 23, 2022. The shocking incident, captured on video, shows the driver pulling over for a routine traffic stop, only to engage in a friendly chat with Trooper Rand Lace and another officer. But when informed of an outstanding warrant, the driver suddenly smoked the tires and left the officers in a cloud of dust. The pursuit was on, with the Ford Mustang speeding away at an alarming rate, its hazard lights flashing briefly before disappearing into the distance. Despite their best efforts, the police cruiser struggled to keep up, and the driver vanished from sight within mere seconds. The chase was eventually called off, leaving many questions unanswered. The identity of the driver, what happened to them after the chase, or whether or not they're still evading law enforcement. Number 18. The miraculous recovery. Sometimes, evading the law requires meticulous planning and a convincing act. Joel Sanchez Delgado masterminded his escape weeks in advance, feigning a broken neck during his arrest to lull police into a false sense of caution and making them believe he was as fragile as glass. But little did they know, Joel was just biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to make his move. As he was escorted to a Little Rock court for a drug trafficking hearing, he burst out of his wheelchair like a cheetah on steroids, leaving the bewildered police officer awestruck. His miraculous recovery caught them off guard, allowing him to make a daring escape. For someone confined to a wheelchair, Joel sure can run. His daring escape was the ultimate magic trick. Now you see him, now you don't. Joel's ingenious plan and impressive footwork proved that even the most unlikely person can pull off a daring escape. Number 17. Midnight motorcycle mayhem. In the dead of night on June 24, 2023, a reckless motorcyclist in Holman caught the eye of a vigilant police officer on patrol. The officer's curiosity was piqued, and a quick check revealed that the young rider, 19-year-old Isaac, was not only driving without a helmet, but also defying a nighttime driving ban. As the officer initiated a traffic stop, Isaac made a fearless decision to flee, sparking a high-stakes chase through the darkness. With his motorcycle screeching and tires burning, Isaac desperately tried to outrun the law, but his luck ran out when he lost control, steering into the grass, and his bike spun out and crashed. Forced to abandon his vehicle, Isaac took to his feet, vanishing into the night. Despite a massive search effort involving multiple agencies, the elusive teenager seemed to have vanished into thin air. However, the police officer's sharp instincts and quick thinking led them straight to Isaac's doorstep, where he was finally apprehended. Isaac may have thought he outran the law, but justice ultimately caught up with him. Number 16. The Great Escape Artist. Notorious for his multiple prison breaks, a cunning murderer once again slipped through the cracks of the law by persuading a police officer that he was simply a jogger out for a run. But that's not the only bizarre part of this story. Richard Lee McNair, the mastermind of escape artistry, has evaded capture not once, not twice, but 3 times. This cunning man should be named the Great Escape Artist after pulling off a series of daring escapes. In one astonishing incident, McNair convinced a police officer that he was simply out for a morning jog, using his charm and wit to talk his way out of trouble. But that's not all. He did not only use his charming personality to elude the police, but he'd also escaped from prison through a mailbox, literally mailing himself out of prison. McNair's ingenious escape tactics left law enforcement stunned, and he remained on the run for over a year before finally being apprehended again. His brazen escapes have given him a place in the annals of criminal history, earning him a reputation as one of the most elusive and resourceful fugitives of all time. Number 15. San Diego Showdown. With police sirens blaring in the distance, an unknown suspect pulled off a dramatic showdown, abruptly leaving the southbound San Diego freeway and leaving authorities hot on his trail. The high-stakes pursuit began in Glendale when police attempted to pull over the suspect for a minor infraction, but the driver refused to yield, instead hitting the gas and sparking a thrilling chase as he ran away from the authorities at 100 miles per hour. With sirens blaring and lights flashing, the suspect weaved in and out of traffic, showing no signs of slowing down, even driving with headlights off at times, making the chase even more intense and perilous as law enforcement officers pursued the suspect both on the ground and in the air. The pursuit was a real-life action movie, with twists and turns that kept everyone on the edge of their seat. Despite the valiant efforts of law enforcement, the suspect managed to outrun the police, leaving behind a trail of excitement and disbelief. Number 14. Brazen Break for Freedom. Diego Jose Zayas Martinez, 28, appeared in court before Judge Robin Green, who ordered him to be held in jail on charges of making a terrorist threat and assault. The judge also raised his bond to $100,000 during the hearing, as Zayas Martinez and other inmates were being escorted to the transport bus at the Benton County Courthouse. He made a sudden break for freedom. With his hands cuffed but his legs free, he dashed past a stunned deputy and raced out of the courthouse. One officer gave chase, but Zayas Martinez's initial speed proved too great. The second police officer wanted to follow suit but decided to wait with the other inmates. He jumped a fence, fleeing east on Northeast 2nd Street, managing to evade capture, at least for a few hours. His thrilling escape was finally brought to an end when he was discovered hiding under a woman's house, bringing an end to his brief but spontaneous bid for freedom. Number 13. Unaware Policeman. Police officers are seen battering down the door with unrelenting fervor, their determination and grit evident in the force they use in knocking down the door. But little do they know, the cunning fugitive is lying in wait, poised like a cheetah ready to pounce, executing a daring and audacious escape plan. As the officers focus their energies on breaching the door with a mighty and powerful ram, the suspect seizes the perfect moment to make a run for it. His quick thinking and agility, allowing him to leap from the window above with the grace of a ninja, landing with precision on the ground below, and sprinting into the streets with lightning-fast speed, leaving the oblivious policeman to storm into an empty room. Their quarry vanished into thin air like a phantom slipping through their fingers. Number 12. Corey Roan's desperate dash. Surrounded by a remarkably low security detail, Corey Roan sits in the third-floor Muskogee County courtroom, making a bold and audacious attempt at escape. Seizing an opportune moment, Roan makes a break for freedom, sprinting past his attorney and sparking a high-stakes chase. 3 courtroom officers give pursuit, hot on his heels as he races down the stairs to the first floor. Roan blasts past an unattended security desk and sets his sights on the courthouse exit. With one lone deputy standing between him and liberty, Roan shows no signs of slowing, taking the deputy down with him as they crash into a metal detector. In the chaos, Roan manages to escape into the parking lot, but not without injuring the deputy in the process. Number 11. Parkour Getaway. To possess the mental agility to leap above rooftops and the cunning to outsmart law enforcement requires a remarkable blend of bravery, quick thinking, and physical prowess. And this parkour enthusiast, who was simply having a typical day shooting videos, demonstrated that he possesses all of these qualities in abundance. His audacious actions caught the attention of the police officers, who approached him with the intention of questioning him. But in a stunning display of daring and agility, the parkour enthusiast suddenly turned and sprinted away from the officers, leaping off the roof and landing gracefully on the stairs. The distance he covered was too great for the police to keep up, and the young man emerged onto the street, triumphant and elated, with a broad smile on his face, basking in the thrill of his impressive escape. Number 10. A fun game of hide and seek. The old adage, "what you're looking for is right in front of you," is about to take on a whole new meaning in this hilarious video. A suspect trying to evade the long arm of the law tries to outwit the law by hiding in plain sight. The suspect, seen initially running away, quickly thinks on his feet and ducks behind a blue car, leaving the police officers scrambling to locate him. The officers, oblivious to the fact that their suspect is mere inches away, are seen frantically searching high and low, running hither and yon in a desperate bid to apprehend their elusive target. But thanks to the keen eye of a helicopter overhead, the sneaky suspect is finally spotted, and the police are able to close in and make the arrest. Number 9. Catch me if you can. Accused murderer Eddie Villalobos made a daring escape from an Oregon courthouse during his pre-trial, outrunning law enforcement in a shocking turn of events. Security cameras captured Villalobos being escorted into the courtroom by 2 officers who had removed his leg shackles and handcuffs in accordance with state law. The law requires that accused individuals be unrestrained in front of a jury to ensure a fair trial, but in this case, Villalobos seized the opportunity to avoid justice. In the blink of an eye, Eddie Villalobos reverted to his criminal instincts. With swift agility, he sprang to his feet and made a break for the rear door, dashing through the first-floor corridors and bursting out a restricted staff exit as 2 deputies hastened in pursuit, hot on his heels. Despite 2 brief sightings, Villalobos managed to evade capture, sparking a widespread manhunt involving the sheriff's deputies, drones, and 2 local police departments. Number 8. From handcuffs to getaway. Alonso Perez executed a daring escape from the Detective Bureau, managing to slip free from his handcuffs and climb up into the drop ceiling. Although security cameras captured the incident, unfortunately, no one was monitoring the footage at the time. Earlier, Perez had been secured in the interrogation room, with both his feet and hands shackled, a precautionary measure taken by police officers to prevent any potential risks. Alonso Perez leveraged his body weight to exert maximum force on the chain, linking his handcuff to the interrogation room table, strategically twisting it until it snapped. With his hands now free, he redirected his attention to the ceiling, devising a clever escape plan. He positioned a chair against the wall, using it as a makeshift ladder to access the rafters. From there, he climbed into the rafters and exited the building. In a stunning stroke of luck, Perez stumbled upon an unattended truck with the engine still running, seized the opportunity, and made a swift escape. Meanwhile, the police officers remained oblivious to his departure for a full 40 minutes, only realizing he was gone after a significant delay. However, their persistence paid off, and Perez was eventually apprehended 4 days later, bringing an end to his brief but daring escapade. Number 7. Runaway damsel. Tasha Faye Sponsler was about to pull off a stunning feat. After a citizen reported a shoplifting incident, police arrived on the scene to apprehend Tasha, but in a turn of events, they left her unattended in the police car, only for her to make a daring escape. Despite being secured in the Lufkin police cruiser with handcuffs, Tasha astonishingly managed to slip free and climb through the window partition to gain access to the front seat. She seized control of the vehicle, expertly shifting it into high gear and speeding away, leaving nearby police officers stunned and bewildered. Her bold and daring feat was a show of a high-stakes magic trick, defying all odds and expectations. Sponsler embarked on a perilous high-speed pursuit, reaching speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, according to police reports. The perils of the chase finally came to an end in Zavala when a Texas Department of Public Safety trooper skillfully executed a pursuit intervention technique, causing Sponsler to lose control of the vehicle and crash. Number 6. Hollywood adrenaline. A dirt bike rider in the middle of Hollywood puts on an amazing show of skill and bravery as he battles police officers in an exciting encounter, displaying his amazing riding skills and pulling off impressive stunts. Despite a few close calls, including a dramatic fall where his shoes were mere inches from him, the rider refuses to give up, quickly getting back on his bike and continuing to evade the authorities. In a clever move, he attempts to blend in with a group of motorcycle riders in the West Hollywood area, repeatedly managing to outrun and taunt the police officers who are hot on his heels. In the end, the rider successfully escapes, leaving the officers in awe of his impressive skills and wondering how he managed to outsmart them. Number 5. The drifter. Outrunning the law in a powerful vehicle can give a suspect an advantage in a high-speed chase. A thrilling scene unfolds as two police officers pursue a blue sports car, attempting to knock it off balance or slow it down. However, the suspect showcases exceptional driving skills, deftly maneuvering the vehicle to escape the seemingly impossible situation. With precision and speed, the driver expertly drifts the car out of the tight space between the police cruiser and the roadblock, leaving onlookers in awe of the impressive feat. The suspect then takes the opportunity to demonstrate their driving prowess, engaging in a daring game of cat and mouse with the police, reminiscent of a high-stakes action movie, before drifting off. Number 4. The smelly hideout. In a stunning display of quick thinking and cunning, a resourceful young kid pulled off a daring escape from the law, leaving authorities and onlookers alike in utter disbelief. The kid, who had vandalized a nearby home, found himself in a dilemma when a determined police officer was hot on his heels. With the officer closing in fast, the kid spotted a trash can and made a split-second decision to dive in, holding his breath and remaining perfectly still as the officer drew near. The unsuspecting officer asked nearby witnesses, a group of girls, if they had seen the young fugitive, but they shook their heads, unaware of the kid's clever hiding spot mere feet away. Confident that the coast was clear, the officer eventually gave up the chase and left the scene, unaware that the kid was still hiding in the trash can, biding his time. 30 minutes later, when the kid was certain the officer was long gone, he emerged from his unlikely hiding place, grinning from ear to ear, and made his way home, triumphant in his clever escape. It was a brazen move that proved even the youngest of minds can outwit the law. Number 3. The carton caper. A suspect being hotly pursued by law enforcement pulled off an incredible evasive maneuver that even left him stunned. Desperate to evade capture, the quick-thinking individual conjured up a clever plan on the fly, deciding to transform into a human chameleon. With fast reflexes, he grabbed a nearby carton and froze in place, blending seamlessly into the surroundings like a statue. The pursuing police officer rushed into the room, thoroughly searching for any sign of the suspect, but was left wondering how he vanished as they found nothing but an empty space. The officer eventually gave up and left, completely oblivious to the fact that the suspect was hiding in plain sight, disguised as a carton. Number 2. A bold but bungled escape. Accurate head counts are crucial for prison guards, but on this occasion, a fleeting distraction proved costly. As Donald Nisley and his fellow inmates entered the prison garage, he decided to try his luck and slipped away unnoticed, hiding behind a van as the others filed into the building. When the coast was clear, Nisley made a daring escape attempt, speeding through the garage door with the transport van's keys still in the ignition and into a nearby wooded area. However, his luck soon ran out, and he was swiftly apprehended and returned to custody. This humorous incident highlights